morning. Today's reading comes from the book of Luke, chapter 10, verses 1 through 11 and 16 through 20. After this, the Lord appointed 70 others and sent them on ahead of him in pairs to every town and place where he himself intended to go. He said to them, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. Go on your way. See, I am sending you out like lambs into the midst of wolves. Carry no purse, no bag, no sandals, and greet no one on the road. Whatever house you enter, first say, 'Peace to this house,' and if anyone is there who shares in peace, your peace will rest on that person. But if not, it will return to you. Remain in the same house, eating and drinking water, eating and drinking whatever they provide, for the laborer deserves to be paid. Do not move about from house to house. Whenever you enter a town and its people welcome you, eat what is set before you. Cure the sick who are there and say to them, 'The kingdom of God has come near to you.' But whenever you enter a town and they do not welcome you, go out into its streets and say, 'Even the dust of your town that clings to our feet, we wipe off in protest against you. Yet know this, the kingdom of God has come near. Whoever listens to you listens to me, and whoever rejects you rejects me, and whoever rejects me rejects the one who sent me.' The 70 returned with joy, saying, 'Lord, in your name even the demons submit to us.' He said to them, 'I watched Satan fall from heaven like a flash of lightning. See, I have given you authority to tread on snakes and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing will hurt you. Nevertheless, do not rejoice at this, that the spirits submit to you, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven.'" This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thank you, Doug. So you turn on the radio, you drive down the road, you watch television, walk down the street, turn on your phone, your computer, even open your mailbox. What do all those things have in common? Advertisements. Advertisements. We're bombarded with all kinds of advertisements. I read an article not too long ago that said in the 1970s, the average American was exposed to 500 ads a day via print, television, radio. It went on to say that today that number soared to between 4,000 and 10,000 per day. 4,000 to 10,000 ads. It says that's a lot of messaging, and marketers are beginning to realize that most of us find ads to be a nuisance, equivalent to walking through a swarm of 4,000 to 10,000 gnats. I went on to say, with such an oversaturated market, how do you get your product to stand out? So the key is influencers. The right message coupled with the right influencer and the right people to make all the difference. Influence marketing, I went on to say, is a form of marketing in which is focused on specific key individuals or types of individuals rather than just the market as a whole. It identifies the individuals who have influence over potential buyers and orients its market activities around those influencers. This marketing style tries to get our attention by using particular people. They get our attention. They don't have to be celebrities. Most often, they're really not. They come across as real people to us. And for whatever reason, they seem to be able to influence us. Influence can simply be defined as the capacity to have an effect. The capacity to have an effect, that's influence. And these people have influence in a certain sphere of influence. A sphere of influence, what would you call that? That's the circle of the people that you're connected to. Family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, classmates, you name it. All those people that you have connections to. They are in your sphere. And because you have connections to them, you have relationships with them, you have some degree of influence with them. For better or for worse, you have some influence on them. Now, in our Bible reading today, we have the continuation of the story we were looking at last week. Last week, Jesus was in the north part of Israel. He needed to get down to the south area, to Jerusalem, and he took the controversial route of going through Samaria instead of around it. We saw that he was rejected by an entire village of Samaria and several different individuals along the way. But none of that deterred him from his mission of proclaiming the good news and telling people the kingdom is near. Now today we see Jesus send out 70 disciples, kind of as an advanced team. They're going to prepare the way. They're going to places where Jesus intends to go to preach and to teach. We don't know exactly why he chose these 70. Obviously, he saw something in them that he thought they could be influencers for the gospel. Now, that may not seem like a big deal for us, that someone would choose to use influencers. But at the time of Jesus, that's not how you told people about a new kingdom. See, when the Romans had a new emperor, they rolled out a whole campaign. They made everybody know about it, and they capped it all off by minting new coins that had the new emperor's image on it. And that way, everybody knew without question who was in charge, and that there's a new sheriff in town, so to speak. The new kingdom. Jesus chose a completely different way of doing it. He empowered 70 people to go out and begin influencing people. He had, in the previous chapter, sent out the 12 in pairs, gave them authority. They were successful. Now we see that number expand to 70. And they're going to places where Jesus intends to go himself. So they're going to prepare the way, they're going to influence. They're going to be traveling really light, though. They're basically only taking the clothes on the back. Jesus said, don't even bother putting on your sandals. Just get up and go. Don't stop along the way. Don't go spend time chatting up anybody. Don't do anything that's going to indicate that you might be a con artist. Okay, don't do anything that will distract you. Don't take anything that will distract you from the mission. The mission of proclaiming the good news that in Jesus the kingdom has come near. And he warns them, he says, I'm sending you out like lambs in the middle of the wolves. You are going to be completely dependent upon God. Because God's going to influence people. And the people have to respond. They have to respond with hospitality and generosity. That's how you're going to be cared for. Because you're not taking anything with you. Imagine that. To be that dependent. They're going to be living just like Jesus did every single day. What kind of impression, what kind of influence, what kind of effect is Jesus expecting them to have? He says, first, bring peace. Now, the Messiah was supposed to bring peace. But the Messiah would bring peace only after war. The Messiah was expected that he would come and conquer all the enemies of Israel first. And then there would be peace. But Jesus says, no, we're going to start with peace. And that word means security, safety, prosperity. He says, there'll be people there who are willing to receive it. When they're willing to receive that, they will have security, safety, and peace in their lives. If they refuse it, just move on. It will be offered to someone else who will receive it. It's not going to be forced on anyone. Unlike the Roman peace, the Pax Romana, that was forced on everybody by military might. No. This is something you have to be willing to receive. And these messengers, he says, when you go into someone's home and they've received you, be grateful. Stay there. Remain in that house. Don't look for better opportunities. So someone welcomed you, but you find out next door they serve a much better meal. Stay in the home you began in. Demonstrate the peace that you have by how you live. Demonstrate that you trust God to care for you. Demonstrate that you have confidence that God will do that, even if you don't know how God will do that. Be good guests. Be thankful. Build a relationship with those people that you are staying with. And when you build that relationship, they're much more likely to listen to the message that you have to share with them. And it's still that way today, isn't it? When you know somebody, you trust someone, you respect them, you're much more likely to listen to them, to pay attention to what they're saying, what they're recommending. You have a good friend, they recommend a television show. You're probably going to check it out. You have some good friends and they say, oh, we just ate at some restaurant. You're probably going to go check it out at some time. If you're like me, I have people that I know have similar tastes in movies. And I know if they say it's a good movie, I'll probably check it out. But I don't pay attention to what the critics say, because I tend to have a different taste than the critics. When we have that relationship, we tend to listen differently. And the same is true with the gospel. When we have that peace of Christ in our own lives, and we demonstrate that, people notice that. They pay attention to that. In many ways, they want that. It creates an opening. And the greater bond you have with someone, the more likely they are to listen to the message that you have to share. The more likely they are to perhaps look into the faith. Take it on your word that maybe it's something worth looking into. Once the peace is offered and received, Jesus says there's another step. You have to make it all real. It has to be applicable. You have to get something in life out of that. What you might call authenticity. Jesus says, when you go into the town, cure the sick. That will be a sign that the kingdom has come near. He wants them to do exactly what he's been doing. Jesus brought healing and wholeness. He brought restoration to people's lives. He wants them to do the same thing. It provides an opening, if you will, for people to be able to see the reality of the kingdom that Jesus is bringing, to experience a little piece of that. And as they do, they begin to see the legitimacy and the reality, and they're willing to walk through that door and explore it. You know, Jesus is still looking for people who will be influencers, people who are willing to take this gospel message into a world that's hurting, a world that needs to know that Jesus has come, he's defeated evil and sin, that he provides forgiveness for us and a new life. We have a new beginning in him. We don't have to be famous. We don't have to live in a particular place. We just have to be real. We have to be available. It's the Holy Spirit that empowers us to do this. Each one of us has influence. We have influence with people. I said earlier, it could be family or friends, it could be neighbors and co-workers and classmates, you name it. There are tons of people that we are connected to. And we have some level of influence in their lives. Part of the question for me as I read this story is, how am I influencing those people? Who are those people? Not just as categories, but who are they as people? Specific individuals. And am I making a positive influence in their lives? Am I actually helping them to see the love and the peace of Jesus? Am I helping them to experience what that kingdom life really is? And that's a challenge. Who is in your sphere of influence? It's simply sharing, really, what you've already experienced. Who will you share that with? You just never know who that is. Often we influence people we have no idea. People buy into the message because they buy into you. And we know that Jesus bought into us because he became one of us. He died for us. He gave us this meal as a reminder to what extent he would love to demonstrate his love for us. Think about his influence in your life, and your influence in others' lives. And as you accept the invitation to come to the table this morning, let him influence you greater still. Would you bow with me, please? Our gracious God, we come before you today, and we come to your table with all humility. We praise you and thank you for what you've done for us. And we remember in our hearts, our minds, and our souls that on the very night in which he was betrayed, Jesus took the bread. He gave thanks, broke it, gave it to the disciples, and said, "This is my body which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." And when the supper was over, he took the cup, gave thanks, gave it to the disciples, saying, "Drink from this, all of you. But this is my blood of the new covenant, poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me." And so it is in remembrance of these your mighty acts of Jesus Christ that we come offering ourselves to you. We simply ask, Lord, that you take these simple elements of bread and juice and let them be for us the body and blood of Christ. And help us to be the body of Christ, redeemed by his blood for our hurting. Help us to be your influencers. This we ask in his holy name. Amen. I'll ask if there are four who would like to help serve this morning, if you'll come forward, please. And as they are doing so, I want to say you don't have to be a member of this congregation. You don't have to be United Methodists. This is the table of our Lord, and all are welcome to come. I invite you to come if you'd like to gluten-free option. We'll have it here in the center.
Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one that could ever sing. Worthy of every breath within a breath, and every oh, and every
God, we thank you for these moments at your table. They remind us, body, mind, and soul, what you've done for us, what great love you have for us. Lord, help us now, having received, to be able to give. Reminded of the grace that you've given to us, giving us forgiveness and giving us life, giving us the promise of eternity with you. Help us to go now and share that good news, to get close to people, to build that bond of trust with them, so they in turn will be ready to hear that good news, that you've done the same for them. This we ask through Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Let's stand as we finish up our time together. It is the Lord's call, and we will follow him wherever he leads, so that we can go out and proclaim his gospel to the world. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Where you move, I'll move. I will follow. All your ways are good. All your ways are sure. I will trust in you alone. I am at my side. I am of my life. I will trust in you alone. In you alone. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Where you move, I'll move. I will follow you. Where you love, I'll love. How you serve, I'll serve. In this life I lose, I will follow you. Night unto the world, night unto thy light. I will live for you alone. You're the one I see, knowing I will find. All I need in you alone. In you alone. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Where you move, I'll move. I will follow you. Who you love, I'll love. And how you serve, I'll serve. In this life I lose, I will follow you. I will follow you. There's life everlasting. In you there's freedom for my soul. In you there's joy unending joy. I will follow. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. When you move, I'll move. I will follow. Who you love, I'll love. How you serve, I'll serve. In this life I lose, I will follow. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. When you move, I'll move. I will follow you. Who you love, I'll love. How you serve, I'll serve. In this life I lose, I will follow you.
So now go.